Have you ever seen a picture of a small tank-like machine from the German Army of the Second World War and wondered if it was actually used in the war? Well, in this video, we're going to explore more of the Goliath tank and how it became one of the more unique creations of the Second World War. In late 1940, the German Army captured a strange French prototype of a miniature tracked vehicle. Now, these miniature machines were designed to deliver high explosive material to the enemy, whilst allowing the operator to remain relatively safe several hundred yards back. And it's by no means a new concept, for the French explored this concept in the First World War in an attempt to overcome the ever more exhausting trench warfare. These early land torpedoes often lacked controls, and they existed to simply cross no man's land and explode. Fast forward to the Battle of France. Some improved prototypes of the land torpedoes were captured by the German Army. The Germans saw its potential effectiveness in combat, so they commissioned Berlin-based automaker Karl F.W. Borgward to develop a German equivalent, with of course meeting the requirements of delivering at least 100 pounds of explosive materials and being remote controlled. The Germans hoped to use this new device to destroy enemy tanks, pillboxes, or infantry strongpoints without needing to send in valuable manpower or resources to do the same task. So, in the spring of 1942, Borgward introduced the SDKFZ 302, nicknamed Goliath. This first model was quite expensive, as it was powered by two 2.5 kilowatt Bosch electric motors. It carried 130 pounds of explosive materials. They received power and controls by a triple strand cable that connected to the rear. With a max length of 2,130 feet, these early models were quite expensive to produce. As a result, they would soon be replaced by the SDKFZ 303A and B. The SDKFZ 303 had a gasoline engine, the Zundap SZ7, a two-cylinder capable of producing a whopping 12.5 horsepower. There were, however, two variants, the 303A and B, with the A having a smaller payload of 165 pounds and the B having a larger one at 220 pounds. The gasoline variant had a greatly increased range of 47 miles depending on the terrain. It also used a joystick attached to the spool at the rear of the vehicle. As the vehicle moved forward, the spool would unravel, giving the user control. So you then might ask the question, how come these weren't used more? They sound great in theory, as it limited users and troops from potential dangers of approaching a pillbox when they could send in a remote-controlled vehicle to explode. Well, at this point in history, they were simply far ahead of their time. Weighing in at a whopping 820 and 950 pounds respectively, they were insanely slow at around 3.7 miles per hour for the electric variant and approximately 7 miles per hour for the gasoline one. They are extremely vulnerable due to thin armor and low ground clearance. They also relied heavily on the cables for controls or power. If the cable were to be severed from artillery or small arms fire, they would essentially be useless. With only around 7,500 of all variants being produced, they were simply too expensive to be deemed a success. In fact, the Allies captured a few and viewed them as having little military value, and the Americans even used some briefly as aircraft tugs. These machines did pave the way for future remote-operated vehicles of war that came about in the many decades following the Second World War. That's going to wrap up another video. As always, if you have any feedback, please leave it down below. I appreciate all of it. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.